Okay, full transparency, because this is getting a bit out of hand. I just wanted to clarify, Magellan's now palace is more like an experiment. I don't want it to be interpreted too far beyond that. I will definitely give credit to COVID and people were obsessed with becoming different people, like a glow-up culture. And I realized you can really take that to the extreme. So right now, like most of the internet, I am obsessed with chronically aligned people. That's not really what people are obsessed with right now. They're more obsessed with stuff like autism, right? Neurodivergence, mental illness. But yes, I am super obsessed with the chronically online persona. And that is who I'm trying to emulate. And I'm sorry, but I just thought I should be honest about that.
I was hoping to find somewhat of a quiet spot. This is not that quiet, but it is better. I'm actually talking, which is insane. I'm stuck in a whisper. I was looking, the reason I've been having such a hard time finding a spot is I feel like there are eyes everywhere. I mean, there are cameras, and I don't know if anyone really looks at them, but they are there. I guess even when I try to be alone, I just feel like there's always someone peeking and trying to hear what I have to say. And I never really feel like I have any privacy ever. But I have to be the one to work to change that. So I've decided to try to record in a new spot. And I can already see the difference. Again, I feel like I can talk freely, which is huge. I didn't even know I could actually speak. Anyways, I'm not currently doing therapy right now. I can't help but vent all the time. That's what therapy is for. But I feel, or I suspect, the reasons that I need therapy are preventing me from actually being successful in therapy, which is very ironic. And I used to kind of do written works of sorts to kind of express my feelings, and that did help. At least it did help a little bit to keep it from constantly replaying my mind over and over again. I did feel a little bit released doing that, more than actually trying to work it out with the therapist I had. So I think I'm going to try getting back into that, because I no longer have access to this space where I used to do that, and I don't know if I want to go back. Like, I feel like that was an era, and I think I can leave it behind. So I'm going to do a verbal reading, so I have 3. I'm going to do a verbal reading of 3 topics that are on my mind for today. Thought 1, I know my family loves me, but I don't feel loved. Part 1. I'd say my family was a huge support for me growing up, and still are, but I'll explain why I want out using an analogy. All my life, it has felt like I was dangling over a cliff. Emphasis on the fact I was dangling, not falling, because I was attached to a string that was attached to a pole, grounded in family. I wasn't going to plunge to my death. That didn't curb the stress from dangling over a cliff. Eventually I fell limp. My brain shut down from the stress, my limbs stopped functioning properly. This is to be expected. I would inevitably experience a state of syncope in association with suspension trauma. The human body isn't meant to withstand that. Not to mention, depending on how the string was tied, I could have been choking. I didn't know if I was choking. I didn't realize my state was flawed until my vision began to blur and my head began to throb. But then it was too late. I was not in a position to rationalize, process, or understand. I was in a state of survival. But I was alive. I was alive because of that pull and string. And I could say I'm thankful for that. I could try to view it positively. What I really needed was to no longer be suspended over that cliff. What I really want is to be able to lay down comfortably and feel safe. Strictly viewing through a technical lens, I was comfortable and I was safe. I wasn't falling. I should find comfort in that. But I don't. And I didn't. I didn't feel safe. And even if I tried to tell myself I was, that didn't affect the physical symptoms. It wouldn't take my brain out of fight or flight. Unfortunately, I don't believe my family in general sense, has an understanding of how to support me besides the string and the pole, the distance of it all. They're doing their best, and so am I. I feel the need to cut the string, hoping falling will be better than hanging. I want to cut them off. At this point, I'm convinced I can fly. If not, I'll die. Thought 2. I know my family loves me, but I don't feel loved. Part 2. I know my family loves me, but I don't feel loved. It makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. I feel the need to complain, but I have it so good. Why doesn't it feel good? This has damaged my understanding of relationships. I try to force myself where I don't fit. This is a good person for me. I should have a relation with them. So why don't I? Likely due to the same reason I don't feel loved at home. There is something wrong with me. I am incapable of feeling and or accepting love. I am flawed. I am broken. I am not human. I am a lifeless, emotionless robot. I must be. If I was human, I wouldn't be void of what makes them so. I am the problem, and I always will be. It's best I don't involve people in my ruin. They do not deserve it. I am a pest. I am a parasite who cannot help but search for and harm hosts. I am the problem. I always will be. I would say I've put in the work to not be, but have I really? I only grow more apathetic. I clearly am not trying. I appear to ease my guilt and keep up appearances. No one believes me though. They try to assure me I'm not callous. They are fools and will always get hurt in the end. I must take it upon myself to set firm boundaries. That is all. Thought 3. I'm far too convinced I'm ugly to ever believe I am pretty. I have the ability to make myself look pretty. I felt extremely ugly as a kid, and one day decided I had to be the one to change that. I got into makeup. I started buying clothes and wigs. I tried to do as much as I thought I could do to make myself look pretty. I got very good at making myself look pretty, but I never felt it. Instead, I saw this pretty individual separate from myself. Who would have thought the solution was not to make myself look pretty? The reason I felt ugly was a little dependent on my exterior. I was rotten inside. I was so rotten. I couldn't comprehend a pretty person who I knew was me as me. She's too pretty to be me. I'm ugly, and therefore cannot be beautiful. People tell me I'm pretty, and I for the life of me cannot believe them. I only stare. They're not talking to me. I'm ugly. That is the final thought. That is that. With that, I'm going to kindly see myself out. Take care.